that are laid out in the Word of God. As I was preparing this message, I thought of a commercial that I saw a number of times. I haven't seen it recently, but it's a picture of a operating room scene, and there's a lead surgeon, and he's got his blue scrubs on, and he's preparing for surgery, and the attendants are around him, and the patient's there, and he begins to ask for instruments, and it becomes clear that this guy's an imposter. He's a counterfeit. And one of the attendees says, "Aren't you a heart surgeon?" And he says, "No, but I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express last night." You remember that? All right. When the mask was off and he was confronted that his life didn't conform to what he professed to be, he at least had enough sense to admit it. It was so glaring, was so obvious. No, I'm not a heart surgeon. Would to God it would be true of those who are believing, confessing to be a Christian and have no legitimate claim to that title. Their lives haven't changed. They're still following their sinful nature, but all under the guise, I profess to be a carnal Christian, and therefore I'm okay. Well, the Word of God refutes that. So let's look at that tonight. There are not three categories of people. There are two. Two. And before, it might be well, because I think there's a great bit of confusion. When you begin to talk like this, people say, well, you know, 1 Corinthians 3 talks about carnality, and Paul was writing to Christians, and so you're saying there's no such thing as a carnal Christian? Let me clarify what I mean. There's carnality in all of us. Carnality simply is a word that speaks of flesh. Galatians chapter 5 talks about the war that's going on between the spirit and the flesh. So there's carnality in all of us from various degrees. Paul was writing to believers at the church at Karns, and he called them carnal, i.e., babes, immature. But what I am saying is, there's no static category of carnality where you remain carnal, you remain fleshly, you remain without desires for God, and you're a legitimate Christian. That's what I'm saying. So there's room for carnality. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the Christian life. There's room for carnality. There's going to be carnality. There's going to be immaturity. There's going to be the need for growing in grace. But you can't be in that state categorically for years and years and years and years and still have a legitimate claim to know Christ and be on your way to heaven. That's what I mean.